Hello and welcome to Rajshri Food. I'm Ruchi Bharani and in this episode I'm making a cool summer drink called Thandai, which is specially made during the Indian festival of Holi. There are very few simple ingredients, so let's get started. 1/4 cup sugar, 1 tablespoon fennel seeds, 8 peppercorns, 1 tablespoon poppy seeds, pinch of saffron, 6 to 8 green cardamoms, 3 tablespoons of dried rose petals, 6 to 8 almonds, half a liter of milk, few ice cubes, few almond flakes, and pistachio flakes. So first I'm going to start with making the Thandai masala. I'm going to throw in my flavoring ingredients: peppercorn, almond, pinch of saffron, poppy seeds, fennel seeds, and green cardamom pods. I'm just going to peel the skin out. I'm going to start grinding this into a fine powder. Now I'm going to throw in the other ingredients, that is the rose petal leaves, sugar. Now I'm going to grind this too. Make sure it's a nice fine powder. And it's ready. You can store this Thandai masala in an airtight container in the refrigerator for at least 3 to 4 months. Let's start making the drink. I have half a liter of chilled milk over here. And I'm going to add 7 to 8 tablespoons of the masala. And a few ice cubes. I'm just going to blend this till it mixes well. Just taste it. If you feel the need, you can add a little more sugar or the masala. It's always better to make the drink at least a night before. Otherwise, give it at least 2 hours before serving so that the flavor gets enough time to intensify. Our drink has been sitting for 2 hours in the refrigerator. It's nice and chilled, and now I'm going to serve it. I'm going to pass the Thandai through a fine sieve. Just stir it with a spoon. I'm just going to garnish it with a few almond flakes, pistachio flakes, and a few dried rose petals. Try this wonderful drink at home. I'm sure you'll love it. Don't forget to subscribe to Rajshri Food. Cheers!
Hi guys, welcome to Rajshri Food. This is the Bombay chef Varun Inamdar, and today I'm making a very popular Indian snack. It's kachori. Kachori is a deep-fried Indian snack which gained popularity in India much before samosas. For that, the filling has moong dal. Now I'm taking the moong dal and this goes straight in the pan to dry roast. I'm going to turn the flame on moderate heat and keep toasting this till it gets nice and golden brown color. Now if you notice, this is nicely toasted and evenly brown. I'm going to cool this now. It's been 10 minutes now. The lentils have cooled completely. I'm going to grind this now into a coarse powder. The mixture is done and ready. I'm transferring this into this bowl again. Now if you notice, this is been roughly ground. So you can see a few grits, you can see a few pieces right here. To the ground lentils now, I'm adding in the powdered spices. First thing that goes in is coriander powder, chili powder, cumin powder, raw mango powder or amchur, garam masala, fennel powder, salt and sugar. Give this a nice mix, and to this mixture I'm adding in a few spoons of water. Add as much water as much as you would to derive the consistency of wet sand. Just mix this evenly. The filling is done and ready. Let's start making the dough. Now, Khasta Kachori, the name itself comes from this technique, which is making the dough khasta. Now, by khasta, I mean getting it flaky. There's a simple trick to this. All I'm doing is mixing the two flours, which is the wheat flour and the refined flour, and I'm adding in some melted ghee or melted clarified butter. I'm going to lightly mix this. At this stage, add in some salt. I'm now going to massage this lightly between my palms and make sure this starts looking like breadcrumbs. Once the mixture becomes crumbly like this, I'm going to add in the baking soda, and along with this, I'm adding in some water. We have to knead this in a nice and stiff dough. I'm now transferring this on the board, and I'm going to continue kneading this for another 7 to 8 minutes. The dough is done and ready. I'm just getting it together now. Transferring this in this bowl and let this rest under a damp cloth for 10 to 15 minutes. The dough has rested for 10 minutes now. Let's quickly check on that. So here I have this dough which is ready. Just re-kneading this and dividing this into 12 portions. I'm going to roll this now into a flat disc, somewhere around 3–3.5 inches in size. Take this in my hand, just give this mixture a mix again, pick a spoonful and drop it right in the center, something like this. Press it a little and pull in all the sides in the center. Get all of this together, pinch the dough, remove if there is any excess or just pinch it back. Seal this completely well and take it back under the rolling pin. I'm now going to roll this back in a disc of 3–3.5 inches, somewhere around 1/2 to 3/4 of a centimeter thick. This is ready. This goes on a plate and I start making the remaining ones similarly. The Khasta Kachori now is rolled and ready. Simultaneously, I've kept the oil to heat. This oil is on a very low flame and it's just about to start getting heated. This is the time when I release 6 of these in. The trick for a beautiful Khasta Kachori is the oil has to just start heating up and the kachori is then patiently you have to keep frying in these. Something like this. I've been frying these patiently for the past 8 to 10 minutes. Now you see they've turned nice, crisp and evenly golden. Time to transfer these on an absorbent kitchen paper. I'm lifting these very carefully without puncturing these or breaking these. So here, your Khasta Kachori is absolutely done and ready. Do try these at home and serve these with tamarind chutney, coriander chutney or plain beaten curds. Whatever the outcome, it's really going to be fantastic. Do click images and share with us via social media. See you soon.
Hi guys, Holi is round the corner and I have a very special recipe for you, which is a traditional Indian recipe called Malpua. I have half a liter of full fat milk and I'm going to keep it to boil till it reduces to half the quantity. Keep stirring on this, otherwise the milk is going to start sticking to the bottom. The milk is reduced to half the quantity and now I'm going to remove it in a bowl and let it cool down completely. While the milk is cooling down, I'm going to quickly make the sugar syrup. For that I have a cup of sugar and I'm also going to add 1 cup of water and I'm going to put this to boil. Keep stirring on this till the sugar crystals dissolve. Basically, I want a 1-thread consistency syrup. You can see a small thread being formed. After you turn off the flame, add 1 teaspoon of cardamom powder and a few strands of saffron. Stir it in the sugar syrup and let it cool down a little bit. The milk is completely cooled down and now I'm going to add half a cup of plain flour and whisk it properly. Make sure there are no lumps. Once the batter becomes very thick, you can add a little bit of milk as well. So I've added almost half a cup of extra milk. Also I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of powdered sugar and I think it needs a little more milk. This is the consistency of the batter that I need. It should be a nice pouring consistency batter. Traditionally the Malpuas are deep fried in ghee, but I'm going to just use a little bit and make them like pancakes. Heat a tablespoon of ghee or clarified butter. Just before making the Malpuas, I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. Now I'm going to drop just a spoonful of batter into the ghee. Make sure you cook them on low heat and the ghee also doesn't have to be very hot. Let's flip them over. They're very delicate, so be a little careful. Perfect. Let's get them out and dip them in the sugar syrup while they are hot so that they absorb the sugar syrup. You can also serve the Malpuas with sweet thickened milk that is rabdi and it tastes extremely good with that too. I'm going to garnish it with a little bit of pistachio flakes and some Rajshri food, and do try this at home. Hello and welcome to Rajshri Food. I'm Ruchi Bharani. In this episode, I'm making a chill chaat recipe which melts in your mouth called the Bhalla or Dahi Vada. So let's see what I have here. Half cup urad dal or white lentil soaked for 4 hours. Half cup green gram dal or green moong dal soaked for 4 hours. 2 cups of yogurt churned. 1 teaspoon ginger chili paste. Coriander leaves. Salt to taste. Half teaspoon soda bicarb. Red chili powder. Cumin seed powder. Black salt. And date and tamarind chutney. Oil for frying. Let's start with grinding the soaked lentils for the batter. Now let's grind it. I'm going to mix half of both while grinding it. Grind the batter just before frying because we don't want it to ferment for very long. Add minimal water while grinding it because we need a thick batter. Let's check on it. I need a fine paste for the batter. Yeah, this is ready. Let's get this out. Originally, Dahi Vada is made out of urad dal, but I like to mix these 2 lentils because this batter absorbs less oil. Let's mix all the seasoning ingredients. Ginger chili paste, salt. Now we're going to whisk the batter with our hand for at least 6 to 7 minutes. The more you whisk it, it's going to get softer. Just mix everything well and keep whisking it in one direction. As you can see, the batter has become softer and fluffier, and I'm just going to add soda bicarb, mix it again, and this batter is ready to fry. The oil is hot. To fry the vadas, I'm going to wet my spoon and just pick up a nice dollop of the batter and drop it into the hot oil. Wet your spoon after every vada you drop in the oil. Turn them around. They're nice and golden brown. Let's get them out of the oil. As soon as you get them out of the oil, and I'm just going to drop them in the water. Soak them properly in water. The vadas have been soaking since 15-20 minutes in the water. Just press and drain out all the water. After draining out all the water, you can keep the vadas in the refrigerator because this dish has to be served absolutely chilled. Now let's assemble it. I have some churned yogurt over here. I'm just going to add a little bit of salt. Nice and chilled yogurt. Let's place the vadas in your serving bowl. Let's pour in some chilled yogurt. Date and tamarind chutney as per your liking. If you don't have the date and tamarind chutney, you can always sweeten the yogurt as per your liking. Sprinkle some red chili powder, cumin powder, and some black salt. And the coriander leaves. I'm sure you'll enjoy this chilled delicacy. Do send in your request in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye.
Holi is an Indian festival that I personally enjoy the most. While most Holi parties in my house end with a surprise samosa party. Hey guys, this is the Bombay chef Varun Inamdar, and today let's look at that quintessential Indian snack, Punjabi Samosas. To begin this recipe, let's first start making the stuffing, for which I'm going to take fresh green chilies and chop this finely. And roughly cut the ginger with the skin on. I'm going to roughly crush the cut pieces of ginger. The ginger and chilies are processed and ready. Let's now start making the masala. For this, I'm heating a deep pan on moderate flame. Once the pan heats up, I'll add in some ghee. I'll first add in some cumin seeds. Once these start crackling, I'll add in the fennel seeds, immediately followed by chopped chilies and crushed ginger. To this, I'll add in some boiled green peas. Give it a quick mix. After a quick few tosses, I'll add in the spices, in this case, the red chili powder, followed by ground garam masala powder, a little salt. Before adding in the potatoes, I'm roughly going to cut them. I'll drop in the potatoes. And along with this, some mint and coriander. Mix this nicely. And once that's done, off goes the flame and allow this to cool down completely to room temperature. In the interim, let's start making the outer covering, for which I have some refined flour, to which I'm adding melted ghee. Along with this, some semolina, some untoasted cumin seeds, sugar, some baking soda, and finally some salt. Give this a mix and make sure this starts resembling breadcrumbs. And this is best done with your fingers. I'll be adding in water and convert this into a stiff dough. Add in little water at a time so that you can keep gauging the amount of water that goes in to make this stiff dough. Do not overdo this, otherwise if the dough becomes softer, the samosas become very soft and not as short crust as you would want them to be. Take this on a working bench and massage this for the next 3 to 5 minutes. The dough has become nice and stiff. Now let's rest this under a damp cloth for 15 to 20 minutes. The stuffing is cooled down and the dough has also rested enough. Let's now get the shapes right. For this, let's re-massage the dough a little and divide this into equal portions. While you're working on the first dough, make sure the other dough is resting under the damp cloth again. Press the first dough down and roll this into a disc. You may have to apply a little pressure to make sure you stretch the dough enough while rolling, because remember, this is a stiff dough. Keep lifting and turning so that the dough does not stick to the bottom of the board, and roll it till roughly it is an thick. Once that's ready, I'm going to divide this midway and pick one neatly. At the base of this half, I'm going to apply some cold water. This is to make sure the patti or the covering of the samosa sticks nicely. Flip it on one side and turn it over like so. The ends nicely meet, like this, and press them neatly. Make sure this starts looking like a conical shape. Take a lemon-sized ball of the stuffing and convert it into a teardrop shape. Press it down. Apply some water on all the sides of the open flap and press this down from this side towards the seam. Press this nicely. Make sure the seam does not open at any point. Place this on the board and allow this to sit comfortably. Similarly, let's start making the other samosas. The samosas are shaped now. Let's cover these under a damp cloth and heat the oil on low flame. Once the oil moderately heats up, I'll introduce in the raw samosas. These little bubbles in oil tell you that the oil is at the perfect temperature. These samosas need to be fried on low flame completely till they turn golden brown. Well, if you do this on a high flame, they may turn golden brown on the outside but remain raw within. The samosas are fried and ready. Carefully lift this up from the oil and transfer this on an absorbent kitchen paper. With this, I'm ready to host a samosa party this Holi. Are you? Hey guys, this is a Bombay chef Varun Inamdar and welcome to Rajshri Food. An Imarti is from the family of the Jalebis. The only difference being an Imarti becomes a quick recipe made with urad dal and a Jalebi requires a fermented batter out of refined flour and yogurt. So the first thing for Imarti is of course the urad dal or the black gram, which is split and polished. The first step here is to wash the dal at least 3 times and soak it for a minimum of 6 hours. This dal needs to be nice and plump. The water needs to be drained out completely. And the next step is to grind this into a fine paste using some water. Well, this urad dal, which is now drained and kept ready, can be divided into 2 to 3 portions depending on the size of the container and the quantity of the urad dal that you're using. Well, this recipe works perfectly for 20 to 24 Imartis. I'm adding in very little water because we need a nice thick and a smooth paste. The smooth paste is done and ready. We need to transfer this into a large bowl. It's important to have the paste nice and smooth because this needs to be piped in the shape of a flower in hot oil. So it's important to have the nozzle absolutely clear. This smooth paste now needs to be whisked for the next 3 minutes so that it becomes nice, aerated and fluffy. While we are doing this simultaneously, because it's going to take some time, I'm also starting with the sugar syrup. For that, I'm going to heat a pan and add in a cupful of sugar. To this, a cupful of water. To flavor this, I'm going to add in some strands of saffron and along with this, a few drops of lemon juice. The reason of adding lemon juice at this stage is to ensure that the sugar doesn't recrystallize in the syrup, and two, to kind of round out the taste, the sweet taste of the sugar. So allow that to boil on medium flame, and by that time we continue with whipping this for at least 3 minutes. Most halwais in India do this with their hands. The aeration happens best when you beat it with your hands, but we are going to do that with a whisk. While beating this mixture, I'm going to add in 3 critical ingredients. One being baking soda. Remember to sieve the baking soda because you do not want those clots and lumps. Second is corn flour. Now this is going to add into the crisp texture of the Imarti. And finally, some edible food grade orange color. Now this is actually imperative because you want the sweet to look exactly like how the halwais make in India. I perfectly understand a lot of people may have reservations about using food grade colors, but trust me, for this recipe it's an imperative. It's important to use a good quality branded food grade color. We need to continue whisking this. The fluffy batter is now ready, and simultaneously if you check, the sugar syrup is also ready. I'm just going to move the pans. I've taken a shallow pan in which I've taken ghee. This needs to be moderately hot, and while that's heating up, let's quickly fill this in a piping bag. Well, traditionally, the halwais use a jalebi cloth, but of course, we all do not have it. So I'm going to show it to you in a very simple way using a piping bag. You can see the mixture has become nice and fluffy. I'm not going to take too much mixture at a time because then it's easier to control the piping bag. I'm going to snip the end of this piping bag using a sharp scissor. It would be my personal advice to practice making an Imarti because of course it's an acquired skill on a plate rather than frying it or making it in the oil itself. So here is how you need to go. We need to form 2 circles like so, and finally coil it up like that. Well, this Imarti, the size rather, could be bigger or smaller depending on what you choose to make. The ghee in the pan has heated up. Time to shape the Imartis in it. We need to make 2 circles like so and pipe it along the periphery. Similarly, we need to pipe further on. On medium flame, we need to fry this on both sides for 1.5 minutes on each side. Once this Imarti turns crisp on one side, we need to give it a flip over so that it turns crisp on the other side as well. Given this donut-like shape of this Imarti, I'm going to use a chopstick to lift this like so. It's important to drain the ghee out completely, and this now gets transferred into the sugar syrup. You could also flip this once, twice over, but with light hands. You do not want the Imartis to break. And while the first batch is getting soaked, let's move on to frying the second batch. We need to remove the Imartis from the sugar syrup and reserve these on a plate for the final plating. Now that the Imarti is ready, time to garnish this with some silver work and pistachios.